Hi, Ed Bixby here from the Global Green Burial Alliance with my co-host Gretchen Spletzer, and this is Spotlight Now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gretchen, and today we are here with Trish Penner. She is with the Green Cemetery Project of Winnipeg, which is in Manitoba, and they have a Green Cemetery project that they're trying to get through up there. We found her on Facebook, and she also has a private Facebook group for the project, and we wanted to hear more about it. So we're really excited to talk to her. We're very excited a new cemetery is coming in, probably really sure she'll tell us more. And welcome, Trish. Happy
Thank
you're
you so
here.
much. Glad to be
So
here.
yeah, so I know that you're a physician, and that you got this project going. You're part of the Green Burial Society of Canada. And so tell us a little bit about the project and the land, and what inspired you to take on this project, because I know it's a big thing.
So there's lots of questions that you just asked, so stop me if there's anything I'm missing. But the Green Cemetery Project Winnipeg is a grassroots movement. So it started with the question of what can we do to be more environmental. So that question was asked in probably the first couple of weeks of COVID. And because there was more time to think about things than there sometimes is in life, there was a lot of thought put into, how can we make our lives greener? How can we choose more environmental choices? Are there places where we could be more environmental, but we actually haven't, looked everywhere yet? And so because I'd spent the first part of my career as a hospital chaplain and now a physician, I thought, well, what is there in terms of medical or hospital or other ways? So there are some projects going on in the hospital, but my particular expertise was in death and dying. And so we raised the question of how can we address our bodies in a more environmentally friendly way? And so this question was asked, and the question actually became much larger. So it became a grassroots movement where many of us were starting to think about what can we do to make this project happen. And the goals of our project, while the roots are in environmentalism, there are other pieces. One of the movements here in Canada is about restitution and reconciliation with our Indigenous population. So that has become a central question in our quest to make this a reality. And we're working on this in various ways. So we've had some elders that are involved in our project. And then we've also had a lot of different people from a lot of different fields all interested in this, but none of us can do this alone. So we've been working together to try to make this project happen.
Where is the cemetery? Is it uh like outside of Winnipeg or in
So we
right?
don't have, so our biggest challenge has been trying to find land. So we have the funding, we have lots of the key players, but we recently, so we've tried several pieces of land as possibilities, but so we live in Manitoba and we live in Winnipeg area. So there's a lot of water and there's always been concern about flooding. So we have to find a piece of land that does not flood or does not flood in a significant way. We have to find land that the soil is stable enough and not, so one of the places that we looked was all sand, and that becomes a hazard for those who are grave digging or standing near graves. So we recently found a piece of land about 2 months ago, and this piece of land actually has lots of the things we're looking for. So it was 22 acres. It is currently actually been in a fallow, so it's been left for quite a few years. There's some trees, there's even a river, a creek that runs through it. So we looked at whether there was support from neighbors and lots of local things. We did our soil testing, we did our test graves, everything looked good. And then we brought it to the rural municipality, who needs to give us a letter of support for us to apply for a license. And while they were receptive to having a meeting, they came up with stipulations that we would need to fulfill before they would approve us. And those stipulations probably would cost about $1 million to explore fully. And so that is outside our budget. We're still, you know, we haven't completely closed that door. We're going to give them the information that we have, which covers our concerns, but may not cover all of theirs. I will give them one last chance. And if they, you know, if they don't show some receptiveness to this, then we will start looking for another piece of land.
Mm.
Can I ask you a question, Trish? So in your, you know, municipality or governance, so do they have specific zoning and areas that they allow this practice, or is it always the same process, you know, to get this letter of support, opposed to knowing you're buying something within an area that it's permissible?
Okay, we our area around Winnipeg, so the area that we're looking is within 50 kilometers of Winnipeg, is made up of different municipalities, and each municipality actually has their own set of bylaws. And the municipality we've been looking in actually has cemetery as a permitted use. So it's not a conditional use. I don't need to get, you know, permission from neighbors. There's not this process. So it's a permitted use. But the RM is using kind of a backdoor way of saying, wait, we don't want this to happen, even though it's a permitted use in this area. So, you know, we've been careful about where we look. One of the reasons we chose to look in this RM is because it is a permitted use. But even as a permitted use, they have, essentially, they've declined our project, leaving just the crack of a door open for us.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but not uncommon. You know, in this movement itself, people don't quite understand what we do.
Yeah.
Don't quite understand that it's already being done. It's just they have to embrace the concept.
Or how wonderful it is for the community in so many other ways too, besides just burial, but you know, for the land and nature and a lot of
and
other
I
things.
suspect that I wouldn't come into as much resistance if I just said, I'm a church, I'm creating a cemetery. I think that there would be more openness to that. However, I very specifically am not associating myself with any particular religion, because I think that this is a project that, you know, is more universal than that. I don't want to exclude people because of, you know, their interaction with specific religions. One of the things that we want to work with in this project is making sure that people feel welcome in this space. So we are specifically, like, out loud saying that anybody who is, you know, gender fluid or trans, or anybody who has a gender identity that sometimes is excluded from other places, they are specifically not excluded from ours, and in fact are welcomed. And we welcome that type of diversity in those who would attach themselves to this project.
And also probably inclusive of Muslim burials and Jewish burial, just anybody who needs, yeah, that's so wonderful.
So we do have, we have Muslim people involved in our project. We have Jewish people involved in our project. We've got Christians, we've got atheists, we've got agnostics, and then a lot of the smaller faiths. So we've got somebody who's Baha'i interested in our project. And actually, I don't specifically ask people which religious tradition they follow. So I would imagine that we actually have a wider range than I'm aware.
Well, the one thing I can say to you, Trish, is that, you know, I commend you for that. And just know, because that's how many of my cemeteries operate. And we're all a family, you know, and at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all end up in the same place. And it's kind of ironic that in death, you can kind of see that. So, you know, I like that you've stood up for those people. That's very good.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the same thing, Ed, that I commend you, because I think that's so important that we, you know, everybody's the same at the end. It's like, it's so important to have this space, these spaces, and commend you on creating this space, because there's a lot of cemeteries, but a lot of them don't offer green burial or, you know, or they're, if you're not part of the church, you can't. So
Hmm.
it's just so
Well,
great. And probably you'll
and
take people who are homeless and died too, that just
absolutely.
need an honorable burial.
Well, and one thing we're exploring is, so the reconciliation that's happening in Canada, there's a question of how do the settlers um, show, the Indigenous population around us that we want to give back and that we recognize that we have done wrongs. And so, like, we're exploring, well, do settler populations buy graves for people who are Indigenous? Is there a way of, making this project something that cemeteries are for addressing our dead and giving their body back to the earth, but it's also for their families and their friends, those who are continue to live. And maybe this community can be more than just focused around death. Maybe it can help improve relations with all sorts of groups who are struggling in our
Yeah,
world right now.
yeah. It just sounds
Absolutely.
like a win-win for everybody in your
I
area,
feel it is. I
Yeah,
feel it is.
yeah. What were you gonna
Well,
say, Ed?
no, no, no. It's a great sentiment because it's so ironic, Trish, that Gretchen and I, we do this. We've been doing it for a very long time, and we meet so many people who maybe they're very passionate like yourself, but maybe they haven't practiced it yet. But you get it. You totally understand what it means to be. It's inherently within who we are in our DNA. So because like you made a very valid point. Cemeteries really are for the living, the ones you've left behind. So why not make it a beautiful, memorable event and place and celebrate a life that was lived? So you know, you've got the right idea, and I'm sure you will find the right property. I did have a question for you. I do see that you have another organization, Return to Earth, which is a green burial co-op. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the Green Cemetery Project and Return to the Earth were two sister projects actually that kind of grew up together. Return to the Earth Green Burial Co-op is a green burial, like a memorial society, but specifically for a green burial. So it's a group that's looking to organize, our local death doulas, welcoming, our we actually have a local casket maker who makes biodegradable caskets. It is all of, bringing that community together, but also bringing the public in and, increasing awareness, bringing educational, like we had, so Return to the Earth Green Burial Co-op and the Green Cemetery Project Winnipeg actually had a conference in May of this year, where we invited the public to learn more, to talk openly about death, to learn about what we should do to prepare for our own deaths and the deaths of those we love, but also to raise awareness about green burial and how that could be part of the process as well.
I wish some of the city leaders could have come to that just to
It would have
hear.
been lovely.
Yeah, just to hear, like, without any pressure, just from the community and conversations that go on around this, because I feel like the funeral industry, they have good intentions. I don't think they would have gotten into the business without really caring about people and wanting to help. And then I think
I don't
sometimes,
know. Like I think there are lots of people who are in it for the right reasons, but I also think that um we've been in this project for long enough that we've heard lots of stories of people who were taken advantage of by larger corporations who are more about money making than about people.
yeah,
So I don't think everybody who goes into death care does it altruistically.
yeah,
So that is, keeping costs down. That's also part of our project because we've heard stories of people paying tens of thousands of dollars because either they feel guilted into it or it's the easiest solution when somebody asks, do you want this? And they just keep on saying yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there are, we recognize that we just want to protect people.
Yes, and I think if, like, city council people and the people who make these kinds of decisions could hear, even in disguise, these conversations within the community about their need and sometimes tragic disappointments because they're not getting what they really want, or don't even know an option that they could possibly have. And I just feel that what you're doing is it's just going to go far. And I really, really wish you success. I think it'll be great for everyone and a win-win for your city and everyone involved.
I
Oh, absolutely.
completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, with your advocacy, believe me, it takes strong people to stand up sometimes and make things happen. You have to be that lone voice, and you will get traction. And we're here at the GGBA to assist in any way you see fit. If you need any type of advice or you need to reach out to us for any reason, please just feel free to do so. We'd love to be able to, connect you to other people who maybe can help you move forward, in your project. Now, at the end of our segment, we always like to do something a little fun. We'd like to ask you, because you've chosen to follow this path, if you could kind of tell us what your vision of where you might be in 5 years with this. People love to see, because that's going to show us exactly how passionate you are about it. So if you could just tell us in a few sentences or a couple paragraphs about where you'd like to see your project in 5 years.
So hopefully in 5 years, we'll have started the project 4 years earlier. We'll have found land, we'll have gotten all our licenses, and we'll be a functional cemetery. So there are so many people who are passionate and involved in this project. So we're thinking a death conference every 2 years. We're hoping in 5 years from now, we're anticipating maybe 50 burials by then. That would be kind of a goal, is 10 per year. We can imagine, our sitting areas, our reflection areas, our paths, our, natural meadow, and our tree. Like, I can imagine this beautiful space that people go to, both for, reflecting on their person who is gone, but also a place where, they can bring their children or even grandchildren to bring dipping nets and check which wildlife are in the puddles, and a picnic blanket, a picnic lunch, so that this space can be a space for the living and for the dead and for remembering. And then I also hope that, our Jewish families are next to our Muslim families, and our Indigenous families are, picnicking next to our settlers. I think that it would be really nice to make become the society that we want to be, and maybe this project is a way to make that happen.
Yes, I love that. That gets me all excited. Like, I think,
Exactly.
yeah, I
Beautiful
mean, that's
sentiment.
just so good all around.
Exactly right. And that's exactly what, some of the agencies should be looking at is, how the benefits enhance the community. So,
Yeah.
Trish, we can't thank you enough here at the GGBA. We're here to support you. Anyone on this call or who watches it, the Spotlight, please, if you can support the Green Cemetery Project in Winnipeg, please do so.
Yes,
I really
and
appreciate your support.
yeah, and connect with Trish and the project, Green Cemetery Project Winnipeg. That's the name on Facebook. And if you're from Manitoba and you're interested, she's doing great things. And it sounds like there's room for everybody to be involved. And share this video if you see it with your friends and family and anybody. So Trish, thank you very much again for being here with us, and maybe like in another year we'll check in with you again and see how it's going.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you, Trish.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.